Last week, I shared with you about the power of Magic PR, where yes, there's plenty of ways you can get a press release very cheaply on the internet, but Magic PR has managed to aggregate some really good sources together. So if you want Yahoo Finance, MSN, Business Insider, and Globe Newswire, really big names like that, all with guaranteed syndication, then you're best off going with Magic PR. And that's before we get into the other benefits of Magic PR, bearing in mind that Magic is an SEO and therefore actually powers up these links using entity stacking, where basically you create pages on hosting platforms, drive stacks, and therefore get more power into the press release. There's some debate as to just how much power that gives, but certainly there are certain circles within SEO who think really highly of this technique. So really with Magic PR, you're getting the press release written for you using the Page Optimizer Pro correlational software, not forgetting the team's expertise in actually getting your press release approved, because these editors do have requirements that it does need to be news. It's not just business doing business. You do need to get the right hook. They'll send it through to you for approval. And then once it's published, they'll do a lot of work to actually power that up with more link equity. Now, what that does is not only helps your press releases rank, especially the Globe Newswire one that works quite well as a parasite SEO platform, but also it forms basically tiered link building where you've got these additional entities and stacks that are linking to your press release, which itself is on a really powerful website. And that's then linking to your website. So you're stacking up and funneling all that power towards your website. But some of you were skeptical, perfectly understandably, about the fact that a lot of these, most of these, will be no-follow backlinks, links from other websites as votes of confidence in your website and your brand. So in the early days, it was simply the more links you have, the better. And of course, that got abused very quickly. Just an example, we've got automation tools like GSA, which can basically just do comment spam all across the internet. So if we're only looking at volume of links, it is easy to get a volume of links. So over time, Google's tried to bring more and more qualitative measures into backlinks as well, into the algorithm. And one of those is nofollow and dofollow. So nofollow was actually brought in 2005, which in the grand scheme of the internet is reasonably late. And that's basically because there are loads of reasons why a webmaster might want to link to someone else, but not credit, not give that power. So the idea is with nofollow is you just discount this and you say it's either an incentivized link or one way or another, I want to direct the user to this place, but I don't want to actually give that website any power. So there's a whole Wikipedia page on the nofollow element, just says exactly what I've just told you, that basically comment spam was a major problem. And of course, Google doesn't like people doing link sculpting or page rank sculpting, which is basically what we talk about with off-page SEO. So influencing PageRank, which was the original Google algorithm based on backlinks. Arguably, it was retired and doesn't work that way anymore, but we know that backlinks are really important. Just look at the top 10 results for any good keyword. So it was created by Matt Cutts, and it was just this idea that you could still link to someone, but discount that link. So either have all your blog comments no-followed. If it was a social media site, it could be no-followed. Maybe you're linking to an advertiser or something like that, in which case, again, it's an incentivized link, therefore it should be no-followed. So a perfect example here, YouTube and dig.com. Of course, in the early days, you could just build loads of social media profiles to build up your page rank. But there's a flaw in this logic, in that Google originally implemented this with the idea that, yes, we don't want comment spam and we don't want social media sites to influence PageRank. The trouble is, of course, I've said this a number of times in my videos, that when Google does things and says things, we have the algorithmic side of what that does to rankings, but we also have the human side. So for instance, we're just coming up now at the end of April to the big parasite SEO deadline we were told about in March, where any sites hosting parasite content are supposedly going to get slammed and punished. Now, it's going to be nearly impossible for Google to actually police that accurately, because you could still have a major news site that's still selling a few sponsored posts. And it's going to be very difficult to actually algorithmically detect what's going on there. But that doesn't mean to say all of these parasite sites are not going to panic and then decide we're not going to do parasite SEO anymore. Already, Outlook India has decided it's going to be massively hiking its prices, I believe doubling prices from the end of this month. I've heard that from my favorite parasite SEO vendor, that's Samrat SEO Ace, so I'll leave a link below if you do want to get an order in at Outlook India. With Samrat, I was able to get an order in for just over $200 rather than the $600 I paid by going direct to Outlook India. And it now looks like the price is going to go up significantly. So Google may well, when Google does things and says things, we have the algorithmic side of what that does to rankings, but we also have the human side. So for instance, we're just coming up now at the end of April to the big Parasite SEO deadline we were told about in March, where any sites hosting parasite content are supposedly going to get slammed and punished. Now, it's going to be nearly impossible for Google to actually police that accurately, because you could still have a major news site that's still selling a few sponsored posts, and it's going to be very difficult to actually algorithmically detect what's going on there. But that doesn't mean to say all of these parasite sites are not going to panic and then decide we're not going to do parasite SEO anymore. Already, Outlook India has decided it's going to be massively hiking its prices, I believe doubling prices from the end of this month. I've heard that from my favorite parasite SEO vendor, Samrat SEO Ace, so I'll leave a link below if you do want to get an order in at Outlook India. With Samrat, I was able to get an order in for just over $200 rather than the $600 I paid by going direct to Outlook India. And it now looks like the price is going to go up significantly. So Google may well be ending parasite SEO, not even algorithmically, but simply through scaremongering, getting publishers to change how they respond. And that is exactly what happened with nofollow links, because certainly over the last few years, most major newspapers have started nofollowing all their external links. So here we have Forbes. If we come down here, we've got some links in here, Sprinkler mentioned. So if we go to inspect, we can very quickly see we've got rel equals nofollow. That is the nofollow tag. Here's another article on Huffington Post. Want to start your own business from home? Experts share their top tips. This probably is some sort of digital PR piece that they paid a lot of money for. So if I go to inspect one of these links, then it's not, but it does say rel equals sponsored, which is basically the same as a nofollow link effectively. So basically you have to turn around and ask yourself that if you were Google and you've got one site that's got 10 links from major media sites, but they're all no, and then you have another site that's got 10 links that do follow, but they're not from these major news sites. Which one do you think should actually rank better? Now, of course, a lot of us from the old days of blogging would say the small niche blogger with the good quality blogs linking to it probably has a lot more trust and authority than the website that's just been able to pay for a big PR piece. But as we see consistently with Google, there seems to be a lot more trust associated with these big brands, even if the journalist doesn't know anything, even if these big brands are just taking money for these kind of sponsorships. So that is the major flaw in the nofollow versus dofollow argument. Would you actually say no if you're offered links from BBC, Telegraph, New York Times, all of those, even if you knew they were going to be nofollow? Of course, you'd absolutely love that. It's perfectly sensible that Google would respect those links far more than dofollow links from elsewhere. Now, generally, I would still say do both. I still say that in the big debate of should you do digital PR, should you do link building, I still say I much prefer niche relevant backlinks with target anchor text pointing to your inner pages rather than a load of nofollow homepage links, even if those come from quite big brands. But in an ideal world, you would do both. But what we're challenging here is this idea that nofollow links have zero impact, no impact. I completely agree that nofollow links are not as powerful as dofollow links. But in the case of a press release, you're getting hundreds of nofollow links from powerful domains for a very low price. And so do we really believe that they are truly worthless? Well, here's one of my insurance case studies. One of my, what I call my minimum viable content process, where I've got an exact match domain. I've just done a basic home and then basically completed the topical silo with around 30 pages of AI content just to complete that topical authority. And this has been ranking really well for some time now. If I go back to the 5-year view, and we're not talking big numbers here, but that's because it's a very high value insurance niche. And I've not really put a lot of focus and attention on it. And you can see earlier this year, it was really dying off. However, we can see from the end of February, its traffic rocketed. Now, on one hand, we did have the Google update amongst that time, but it's still an AI homepage. There's, if anything, this site should have been penalized from the March update rather than rewarded. What else was going on? Well, I published a press release. So you can see here, press release about buildings insurance, property insurance. That was approved and went out on the 29th of February. And we can see from the 29th of February, if I just zoom in a bit, massive increase in traffic. So that's just a single variable. Do I believe this was 100% attributed to the press release? No, I don't. But I'm pretty sure there was some positive effect there. We've been building links to the site using our outreach process for a long time. So we've got a DR of 18, and we've earned that through reaching out to these high quality blogs and getting those DoFollow high quality backlinks that are the standard part of our agency offering. But big spike in traffic in the last couple of months, and that seems to be directly in line with that press release. You will also see, as I shared in my case study, my local cleaning company, cleanersenfield.co.uk, I did a press release for that on the 4th of March. Now, this too is a really interesting testing ground because all we've done on this is citations and a press release. So the vast majority of those links are Nofollow. Now, results so far looking really good, ranking for 11 keywords and actually getting traffic from those keywords as well. Only really about 6 weeks since actually launching the site with just a basic homepage of ChatGPT content, nothing else. If you go into those keywords, you can see those are all moving up nicely. So cleaners in Enfield, 40 searches per month. $1.50 CPC on page 1, main keyword, cleaners Enfield, 150 searches per month. So this is all looking really good. We're squarely targeting those local searches we wanted. Of course, the real money is going to come from when we rank for cleaners or cleaner near me, so that anyone in this local radius who searches those terms gets our results. Because of course, most of us, we don't search for cleaner in our local area. We do just search for cleaner near me or just cleaner. So that's going to be much higher volume. That's where we're really going to make the money. But when you're first starting out, it's these local searches which are the easiest to rank for. And of course, in both of these cases, we will have the Google business profile. So in one of my future videos, I will include how I'm going to try and get that Google business profile verified, because it's gotten much harder lately. Google's bringing out a lot more of these video verifications where you have to show your shop signage and proof that you're a business. So I do have a few tricks to try and get around that. So that'd be a live case study. Don't know what's going to happen, but pretty good chance we should be able to get that verified using an easier method like an email or a phone call. So this is ranking well. Let's have a look at the backlinks, because like I say, so far it has only been Nofollow links built to this. I didn't realize when I registered the domain, it had actually been used before. So it was kind of an expired domain, but they only really had a few citations, and it looks like a lot of those have dropped off now. But we can see 56 groups of links. Now, if I switch that over to DoFollow, we are now down to 11 groups of links. And that's just some of my citations that I bought. So again, these are just cheap, high volume links. Do I really think a listing in a local business directory is a valuable link? On its own, not really. Do lots of them, then there's probably going to be some movement there. Of course, really for citations, we're looking more at the EEAT aspect and getting that Google business profile verified and ranking, but you get the link in the page as well, so why not? But once again, are we really saying that a Nofollow link from a major news site like Forbes is worthless, whereas a link from bonusgate.org, I think this is just some spammy automated link, but it is DoFollow. Are we really saying this is more valuable because it's DoFollow? I doubt it. So 11 groups of DoFollow links. If we switch that to Nofollow, my math says that should be about 45 groups of links. Exactly that. Never mind the citations, got our press release in there as well. Not all the links are showing up in Ahrefs yet, but here we've got my press release, DR25. Not only is it Nofollow, it's also sponsored. So here we have both here with the insurance site and here with the cleaning site, two very good examples of sites that seem to be doing very well in response to a press release. So like I say, I'm not saying they're the best links in the world. I'm not saying Nofollow equals DoFollow, but this idea that Nofollow is worthless just doesn't hold water. Now, finally, some of the best advice I've ever heard from this came from Carl Roof. I heard Chiang Mai SEO. Carl Roof is really good. He's actually got a patented technique he uses for trying to create almost single variable tests, where he tries to eliminate as many of the variables as possible, basically by using nonsense words. So by creating this nonsense word that's never really been mentioned before, he can create a search result that he controls. So he can publish 5 pages on different websites targeting the same nonsense keyword. And with that, he can test in minute detail what's actually working in terms of H2s versus H3s. And generally, he focuses on on-page stuff, but he did come up with this really good conclusion on Nofollow versus DoFollow, which is that Nofollow links do still work if the referring page actually has traffic and ranking keywords. This is currently on mute, but you can see here is that Nofollow will pass juice as long as that page is organically ranking for something and getting traffic. That seems to be the real indicator, the tipping point. So if you've got this brand new page, it's not a ranking factor for anything, but if the page is ranking and this is getting traffic and organic traffic, then it will pass juice and probably pass its full weight of whatever that might be. And that's something I've said for a long time with our link building service, where we try and prioritize domains with traffic, But generally, we will also try and actually get those pages the backlinks are on ranking as well. So we'll often do, as part of our outreach process, what we call PR style guest posts, where it's a do follow link on a powerful site. And for one thing, it's contextually relevant to your niche, but we'll also actually write that page was to give that page the very best chance of ranking for your target keyword. And that way, your link back to your site becomes much more powerful. And it's the same principle. So over the last few years, Google does seem to be placing more and more weight on backlinks that actually have traffic. Even if we're doing link insertions, then generally when we're researching a website and trying to find niche relevant pages on that site to link to our client, we will prioritize pages that are ranking for keywords. So yes, we'll look at the URL rating, which is basically a measure of page rank, how powerful that page is based on its backlinks. But a more important factor to us is that ranking for keywords and is it getting traffic? Because then if you get a link on that page, it's much more powerful. And this brings me back to Magic PR, where we have Yahoo Finance, MSN, Business Insider, Globe. Some of you were concerned that these are all no-follow links, there's no value. Well, you're not spending a whole lot of money to actually get these links. Plus, you're getting hundreds of other links on other websites as well. But as I said earlier in this video, Globe Newswire especially, as well as Yahoo Finance, MSN, and Business Insider, they are really powerful domains and they do rank very well. So when Madge's team actually writes your press release using Page Optimizer Pro, it is very common for those press releases to actually rank and get traffic, especially on Globe. So when you get your delivery, you can put it into an Ahrefs batch analysis, and generally you'll find, certainly the Globe Newswire one, normally these are the three as well, it will rank for keywords very quickly. And that means, based on Carl Ruth's logic, that backlink has power, even if it's no follow. So would I go onto Fiverr and buy 500 no-follow links for $50? Probably not. There's probably not any benefit to that. They're probably going to spend a couple of dollars with a tool like GSA, give you a load of comment spam, and keep the $45. But equally, if Forbes offered me a link, if I were doing Harrow Outreach, something like that, and I got a link in Board Panda, Forbes, any of those, then of course I'm not going to say no. Even if I had to pay a couple of $100s for it, I'm still not going to say no. And it's the same thing with Magic PR. If I get Yahoo Finance, MSN, and Business Insider, and Globe Newswire, then I'm happy, even if they're no follow.